I don't think anybody expected this. I didn't expect this. Now, I've been keeping up with the Diablo 4 a lot. I've been looking at a lot of different videos from different people, mostly from As1 Gold, because he also makes other funny videos, like his $2 pizza video. Did you guys see the spider web on that, by the way? My wife and I watched that today. Like, I showed her, and I was like, look at the spider webs. That's a wild video. I didn't expect it to be out so soon. There was a lot that the developers of Diablo 4 talked about in their fireside chats. They said it wouldn't come until Season 1, maybe Season 2. And instead, there's a bunch of things that came out right now. Like, I'm not even kidding you, at this moment, I just updated, which seems insane to me. I'm curious about what they've changed. From the glimpse that I saw, it's not just fixes, okay? There's a lot of balance changes, too. Everything that I've seen about the endgame of the game shows that the balance is a serious issue. For instance, as a necromancer, your minions are basically like doo-doo. It's real strange. The only good class is really barbarian. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Everything else is what you play if you like the flavor of it. You struggle because you enjoy playing games for fun instead of playing games to win. Even though winning is fun. Winning is very fun. Just, you know, never raise a loser, always raise a winner. They've got the usual fixes, right? I really hope they fix the issue where sometimes your like input would like lock up, or sometimes the like hat text box would like open. What? Local co-op? What the fuck do you mean local co-op? Okay, that's insane. Who knew that local split screen was being kept alive by Diablo 4 of all games?
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah. That's why. Like, the game's online only. Why would you want to have your friends sit beside you? That's weird, you know what I mean? Just have them stay at home. Everybody stays in your own home. Nobody messes with my sofa or my computer or whatever. You go over there, I go over here. We both play a game. We connect online. Oh my god. Fixing issue where chat could be expanded even when the chat is not visible. That right there. This one fix, I think, changes the entire game. I see people playing on like hardcore, and I'm like, they die to bugs more than they do to the monsters. It's like hardcore WoW. It's like hardcore anything. Anything hardcore is like you people will die to like really dumb things most of the time. But this was the thing that I saw the most, and that happened to me the most, to the point where I was like, I can't play the game even on softcore. Like, this pisses me off. Xbox consoles, who cares about consoles?
Phone? Yeah.
Miscellaneous. They couldn't create a clan with a language set to Russian or Spanish. Dude, I really want to go and see like what happens someday. Because like, how does this happen? How can you not create a clan when your language is set to Russian or Spanish? This seems like two inconceivably unrelated things. Would not play cutscenes if you have party of 3 or more. Good thing I'm not friends. Emotes would not function when used with a controller. Wait, so you would buy an emote from the shop for like real money for 20 bucks and it wouldn't work? That actually sucks. Imagine paying $20 for horse armor and it doesn't even show up. Gameplay, okay, gameplay adjustments. This is where we get into the meat and bones, right? All of this, it's like, okay, sure, thanks. Thanks for making like a working game in 2023. This is very, you know, it's important. Thanks. Thank you for selling me a functioning product. But this is the meat and the bones, okay? Gameplay adjustments, experience rewards. Significantly increase the experience awarded for completing Nightmare Dungeons. I didn't know this until I saw that one Twitter post by a dev who said, yeah, Nightmare Dungeons gives you more sacred items. I was like, okay, why is this on like Twitter? Again, I will never understand why game developers use Twitter and Reddit as a secondary resource wiki for your game. The experience from doing these Nightmare Dungeons is awful. I think in terms of like experience, it's like Whispers, Helltide, and then Nightmare Dungeons, which is awful. Because Nightmare Dungeons are literally the roguelike mode. It's actually like a decent mode. There's other issues with it too. Like, a lot of the modifiers are kind of like, they don't do anything. Like, okay, thanks. Like, a thing follows me and hits me every 5 seconds. It's like, okay, that doesn't change anything. I now just have to move more than I usually would. Where I have to move backwards or forwards, right? Where enemies explode when they die. It's like, okay, now I just avoid a body, right? It's like non-consequential things. Inconsequential things that just don't matter, right? But at least it's something different from the norm. You do a Helltide once or twice, you've done a Helltide for the 100th time. You do a Whispers once or twice, you've done Whispers for the 100th time. The only thing that Whispers does really, really well is that it forces you to do dungeons that you wouldn't do otherwise for the sweet 5 Whispers, okay? That's it. That's the only thing that it really does. At least make these things worth something. At least make the one gameplay mode that's like fun worth something in terms of leveling up. I'm currently level 58, which is not even close to endgame, okay? But every time I do a Nightmare Dungeon, I realize that like I'll never get to endgame, even though this is the most fun part. I do a Helltide, and I'm not even joking, I can feel my eyes like closing. I do Whispers, and my YouTube to watch list goes down by like 100 videos, because there's nothing to focus on. Let's see, Helltide chest now provides substantially more bonus experience when opened. This is kind of disgusting. Opening chests was kind of like the secondary thing of like, okay, well, you open your like 1 or 2 chests that you want for your pieces that you want. You don't really want to do more. Like, I basically go for two-handed weapon for the chance of making my minions actually do something in like combat. This at least makes it more viable for you to like open all of them during the entire hour Helltide if you want to play for the entire hour. I mean, Helltide has other issues. Like, I really wish the boss monsters would spawn more. Like the Helltide Assassin and stuff, or the Helltide Sorceress, or the Helltide Succubus. Damn, I love Succubi. Individual Whispers get a significantly increased rewarded experience. That's significantly better. Again, completing the Whispers by themselves does jack shit. the only thing that really matters is when you hand it into the tree. So the most optimal play, I'm not even kidding you in terms of like time, is you do 2 events, and then while you're doing those events, you get the like motes that I drop to hand into the thing. You do the 1 dungeon in that area that gives you 5 whispers. You just hand it in, and that's it. You just fuck off to like some other area. There's nothing else to like do. Now let's see the general gameplay adjustments. The Helltide roaming bosses, which again is the coolest part of Helltide. This is nice. It makes it much more worth it to struggle through them, especially when you consider that the Helltide is about killing the highest volume of monsters to get as much of those those gems to like drop. Fighting these bosses takes a long time because your damage is scaled down and like they're very hard to fight. The Helltide assassin especially, he jumps around a lot. So basically any class that isn't the barbarian can get fucked. Okay, great. My blight pool doesn't do anything. My minions that just shot all of this stuff in this one area, now they have to re-aim. So this is a lot better. It's a nicer trade-off because right now the trade-off is you get fucked and then you that's it. Have fun, I guess. Our players can now teleport to that nightmare dungeon directly through the map. This was slated for Season 1 or Season 2. This is a major improvement. Right now, you have to hope that it's going to be in a certain place that's at least close enough to a teleport. That downtime in between is dead time. Now, this is the other thing that I didn't expect from this patch. Balance changes. There's a lot. Apparently, every single class got balanced because I opened all of these before I started this. And there was one for every single class. They expanded the scroll bar by a significant amount. So let's read what their developer noticed. We're continuing our efforts to make all class builds feel fun and powerful with another round of balance updates. Now, I'm curious, before I read further, I'm curious what they mean by balance updates, right? Some classes fundamentally feel kind of like weak because of a lack of actual choices and a lack of actual playstyle differences. For a Necromancer, for instance, your little spirit bomb, whatever thing, I don't know, why is it so hard to remember names? The Skull Spirit, the one that like chases you down, it's just a worse version of Bone Spear. It's like a one-time use Bone Spear and you have to harvest more essence because mechanically, these skills, they differ in just numbers and barely in playstyle. You have your basic projectiles, you have your basic swings and your melee attacks, and then if the numbers favor one over the other, then that's going to be the strongest one. Even larger fundamental changes, like what are the various sort of special effects that you can do and like how do they actually interact with mobs besides damage? If they don't change those at a fundamental level, I don't think this is ever gonna really be a solved issue. It makes me a lot less hopeful that they can do a lot in just this patch. I'm hoping to be proven wrong the moment that I read the first one though, okay? So let's just read the rest. Typically, we've seen community feedback saying that basic skills aren't impactful enough in combat. Yes. I expect basic skills to be something like Fury, you know, or Frenzy. Like I expect basic skills to be something like, you know, a small fireball or like Sparks or something. Or like these things will not change the fundamental relationship between basic skills and core skills. This I think is a huge mistake. I've mentioned this before when I live streamed the game, but when you have categorizations for skills, you make it easier for people to choose, you make it easier to balance around because you know that most people will only be able to run one of each type, but you also make it much more difficult to design something interesting because if you can't solve the problem with mechanical changes, then what ends up happening is that all your skills feel roughly the same. They only differ in terms of numbers, right? How many targets hit, how much of your essence used or generated, how much damage they do. But we hope that they help smooth out the leveling experience while we explore additional ways to strengthen them. We also increases the power of some skills that players feel are lagging behind their peers. If you look forward to future updates, we're monitoring other heavily discussed topics, such as minion survivability and build parity. Please send us your feedback and we'll see you in Sanctuary. They do actually want to make this game work. Of course, the first year of a game is sort of like the easiest time for a developer to support a game is the first year. But let's see how this goes. If it's a good first patch or not. Holy shit. Oh my god. Minions will now always engage targets with a cast curse. You fixed an issue when Necromancer players would suddenly be stuck at the character selection. What did we do to deserve this? Our minions already suck. Stop doing this to us.